Cool. There's a lot of options for scopes and a huge price range. So if somebody's just getting into the sport and they don't have a ton of money, but obviously we want to get as much scope as we can, for the money you have. Like, what features are must-have features, and what could you maybe let go to save some money?
Well, scopes has kind of been one of the things for me that I kind of wanted to learn all the lessons for other people, so that other guys aren't dropping really hard-earned cash, and then they're figuring out, well, I can't use this reticle in this type of game, or I can't use this type of feature, or whatever. So I've kind of made it a point to buy or own them all, and there's kind of like the magic sweet spot now, and like a lot of our equipment, we're in a great time for quality gear. The sweet spot is if you can be right around $1,000. You can get stuff with the high feature set items in cheaper scopes. Even in the $300, $400, $500 range. But once you get to $1,000 or just right around $1,000, now you're dealing with good enough glass and good enough feature set that you're really not going to leave a point on the table. I don't think if I had to run a Vortex Gen 2 PST with their Christmas tree they got in it, it's called the EBR2. If I had to run that versus my Night Force or my Schmidt or my Heinsold, I don't think I'm going to leave any points because I'm not running those instead of something around the $1,000 mark.
You get to a point of diminishing returns.
Absolutely.
I think after that, you're paying a lot more for just a little bit. After about $1,000, well, the $2,000 mark has a lot of the Gen 2 Razor is a good one around $2K.
And that's kind of the next jump up from like that $1,000, $1,200. If you can jump that up to around the $2,000 mark, well, now you're getting like all of the high dollar features, and you're getting like that next level glass, and almost every option that you can see around the 2,000, Vortex Gen 2 Razor, the Collis, the Night Force options. There's so many now. They're all so good, and you have to get really nitpicky to.
It's almost preference at that point.
Seriously, yeah.
Because a lot of them have different lens coatings where colors pop a little bit differently. Some people like that, and some people don't. But we're talking about pretty high dollar stuff. I mean, $1,000, $2,000, $2,500. And what do you think under $1,000? The Gen I started, my first scope was the Gen 1 Vortex PST, the first one, and I think I paid probably $750 or something like that for it. You can get those now for what, $5, $6?
Yeah, 5 or 6 probably.
Getting down there, and that's some good glass. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? If you compare that to like a $4,000 scope and you look at them side by side, you see what the difference is. But there's some other decent ones. For me, out of everything, the glass to me is what I spend the most on, because I cannot stand looking through glass that's, fish-eyed, or, the mirage just really just destroys your sight picture, and the eye box is really small where you've got to be in this exact position to be able to see, because if you move back, a quarter inch, you can't see it all. So I like to spend the money on the glass.
And if it's going to keep somebody from going out and it's like, well, I'm not going to get involved because I've only got something in the budget for like a $600 Viper PST or whatever, and so I'm going to wait until I can get $1,000, $2,000, or $7,000 Heinsold.
Yeah, don't make it stop you from shooting.
Don't ever let it stop you, because you're going to have so much more fun. Now, is it nice, like what Dan is saying, to be able to, like, I'm a glass snob. Like, I love looking through a really, really nice scope. But that more just comes down to, like, I'm enjoying the experience a little bit more. Am I getting, with my 7-35 Night Force, am I getting 3 or 4 times more value or more clarity than a PST? No, absolutely not. it definitely law of diminishing returns at that point. But
I mean, there's a lot of good scopes. Not good. There's a lot of usable scopes. I mean, a lot of guys will knock on the Athlon, but man, they make some good. For the price, good usable scopes.
it's got all the right features.
You got to have a good reticle. First focal plane for sure, 100%. That's like a necessity. First focal plane is where the reticle adjusts in size as you zoom in and out. The other ones are second focal plane, where basically the reticle's one size. Well, the subtensions on a second focal plane are only apply if you're zoomed in all the way. So a lot of the targets that we shoot, because we're on the clock, you don't want to be zoomed in all the way, because if you're transitioning to another target, if you've got 3 or 4 targets in an array that you have to shoot, if you're zoomed in at 25x, you're trying to find the next one. You're probably going to go past it. Now you're on the third one. You think it's the second one, and you shoot it. Now you're on the wrong target.
And if you're using a second focal plane and it's indexed at 20 power, and you're running down at 15 power like you should to be able to transition to targets or find your targets easier, and now you try to do a wind hold. Well, now that wind hold's value is completely different than what the true wind is. So if you go from 15 power now up to 20 power and you held that same wind that you just did last time,
It's different.
Now you're effed and you're not you're not hitting that target.